streaming button. I'm going to feed you this. Where is it? Sweet. Here it is. I found it. Here you go. Now you can see the game. It's magic. The magic of the modern internet, where everything is wonderful and terrible all at the same time. Everything is everything all at the same time.
Everything is everything. All right, let me do my my thing.
Yep. And we're just warming up here, prepping it pre-stream. You know, it's got to be time. It's going to be time for a little show. I'm not thinking that today's stream is going to be like the longest.
Okay.
But you can never tell with Amabel playing video games. I love you very much.
Thank you. So, are you doing this?
Yeah, I'm just making sure everything's, making sure we're all healthy on the back end here.
All right. You're healthy on the back end.
I don't know what that means. Okay, so arena mode. I don't even know what. Like I said, I haven't played at all this week, so let me just look at the pets that are available here real quick.
I guess. Oh.
Okay, so I'm seeing there's a fair amount of like summons. I see some trumpets. There's some golden retriever stuff going on. I see that what's it called? The pink one, the fairy armadillo, which is always a little environment warping. Well, let's get in here and give it a shot.
Why? What is that? What does that one do?
Every time it takes damage, once per round, when it takes damage, it gains permanent health. So if you can get a hold of one early, you can build it up quite a lot.
Yeah.
More easily than some other things. I'm gonna, we'll grab you, and we'll maybe even freeze this horse. No, let's just do this. Okay, so trumpets. Get trumpets, spend trumpets. This is how we are starting. Let's see here. We got a couple of SBs available here. Let's soothing breaks.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we're getting down today.
I just want to check the. Oh no, the stream is public. Yeah, because I got into it. So we've done the
stream you would be able to get into it with a link even without it being public, but it is public.
Okay.
I triple checked. I was very nervous about that myself. Amabel.
Okay. You drawed it. Good job.
Yeah, the most likely thing occurred, right? Let's get a horse in here. Horse is good for horse is good for summons. But before attack, transform into an ant. I don't think I want any of my pets to do that. I think I want them to be the thing they are when they quote unquote faint.
Why is that the power of that? That's so weird.
Well, I do not have the power to answer questions about representation here. It does seem odd to me too, but maybe it's a famously ant-attracting cultivar. I don't know.
No, I mean the Girl Michelle banana was like the banana.
I know what
it was like
I know what the
really stable banana cultivar, and I don't think it's particularly ant attracting.
All right, let's see about. Okay, so there's a lot of summon stuff going on here, and this pet deals damage to a random enemy every time any enemies are summoned. So it's sort of like a counter for what appears to be a dominant strategy in the pool. It's not a bad thing to pull early. 5 enemy attacks transform this into a. That's cute. We'll try to grab one of those too. So yeah, hey everybody, hey, welcome in. This is the pre-stream. I'm just warming things up here and giving people time to respond to the notifications. You know how it is. See our royal flycatcher doing excellent work here. It turns out dealing random damage to enemy pets is good, is powerful. It's good to harm them. So 5 enemy attacks causes this to transform. So we want it pretty far back. But I also obviously want the flycatcher pretty far back. And the horse is only giving...
Yeah.
The horse is only giving a point of bonus power to the dog that is summoned when we only have one pet left. I think I'm just going to go ahead and sacrifice the functionality of the horse to make sure this thing flips over. Or at least to give it the best possible shot of flipping over.
Okay.
Okay. More XP for the flycatcher. So yeah, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be normal stream time today. We're going to have a real normal experience. Okay, let's with this cat. 2 random friends. Okay, so this is just a lineup that like generates a lot of total HP. It's annoying more than anything. Fortunately, we did in fact have time for our warthog to grow up and become mighty. We're doing okay so far. Definitely want to focus on growing up some of these pets. Do we want to change anything out just yet? I don't really think so. I kind of want to just keep growing along my strategy. I don't think we're doing like a lot of hard summon stuff, so I think the horse is probably not really giving us a lot of value. We could trade the horse out for something, but I don't see anything super compelling just yet.
So these auto battling games where you buy multiples of a thing to make it leveled up, and then it has better stats or whatnot, or the ability improved. That's kind of like a standard thing in this design space.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you ever have a thing like what's that game where you have the animals and they fight each other, and then when they gain levels, they turn into different animals?
I'm sorry, are you talking about Pokemon? The Pokemon? Okay.
Yeah. Is there everything like that in this space where like they become a different thing when you level them up?
Sort of not really. It's kind of a different thing.
Okay.
Listen, a well is round and has water sitting in it. A fountain has a sprayer bit. If you're not spraying water, you're not
a fountain. Is not
Amabel.
Not necessarily.
Amabel, why don't you go load up that video and click the link to the Cambridge dictionary that I put in the description and see if it agrees with you. It's cool. I'm sure Cambridge doesn't know anything about the English language, so fucking heathens and
I mean,
do not come in here. Do not come in here swinging on me. I am
according to dictionaries, the word
dictionaries. Like, which dictionaries? Because I looked at all of them, and they all said a jet of water or a thing that can emit a jet of water. Anyway, I'm giving this pet a radish.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I'm belligerent. I wasn't belligerent. I was cool. We were all here. We all saw it. I was cool until moments ago when someone came at me. Right? I was not. I did not instigate.
According to like dictionaries, like the word "dead name" was invented by this guy in 2015.
Oh, okay. So now our defense is, well, what does anything mean anyway? It's funny how all of a sudden the authorities are the only thing that matter until they prove me right, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, but have you considered? Maybe the nature of knowledge is such that.
Well, it's not a well.
It is objectively a well. You are throwing. It's a big round thing. It's a big round still body of water that you're throwing coins into. It's a wishing well. If you have a big thing that you're throwing coins in, like the whole point of it is to evoke the phrase wishing well. Amabel.
Yeah. Really, the person you should be mad at is the people who
Sure,
make
I can be mad at Robin Venice too, though. I got room. I have capacity. So see, our fairy armadillo is taking damage and gaining permanent HP, rolling up and becoming more powerful over time, slowly.
I think you're just giving Robin what Robin wants.
I agree with you. This is part of the compact. We don't mention that. Amabel.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I'm sorry. Is that a pickle? What does a pickle do?
It's a cucumber. It gives about 1 HP at the end of the turn. And you know, it persists, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, like to a certain extent, I'm being the dancing monkey here, right? Like, Robin showed up and pressed the button, and so I danced. Unfortunately, the nature of the business. If we're going to just go ahead and peel it all back, because Amabel can't live with the kayfabe. There's a lot of stuff going on. How are you following all this, Amabel? Yeah, was that all was that a very comprehensible round of Super Auto Pets?
Yeah, as comprehensible as anything.
As comprehensible as anything.
Anything that you
anything that okay, I see.
Bas van Duren den Hollander says that you said that gaining entry is one of the coolest crimes. What's the rest of the tier list like? Is this
do we want to rank all of the crimes?
The coolest crimes.
Yeah. What's the tier list of crimes?
Of coolest crimes.
Yeah. Stop. What are you doing?
Some crimes aren't cool at all.
Okay, but they would still be on the list. They'd just be on the bottom of the list. You are so weird.
Alternatively, Robin wants to talk about your tires in Pacific Drive.
I don't remember my time. Listen, I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm vulnerable, I guess, is what I'm saying. So if there are further swings you would like to take, I suppose all I can say is go for it.
Hot.
There's an element of I can okay. That's 22. That's 22
what?
Dog. I can't handle 22 Dog in this setup while people are shouting at me.
I saw you trying to handle 2 Dog like a few weeks ago, and it was rough. So I can't imagine 22.
You mean they were saying rough?
I mean it was more of a.
Yeah, they were small yappy dogs for sure.
No, I'm saying you were a little overwhelmed with 2 Dogs.
Overwhelmed. Hold on now. I don't know if I can get behind this. Look at the size of that axolotl. So this is part of the problem.
That's a lot of.
This is part of the problem I am identifying now with this particular pool of pets, is that it is a there's a lot of like opportunities for long-term growth here, and because I did not identify that really, I'm feeling a little bit behind the curve. I'm gonna re-roll down to 6. I'm hoping to see another axolotl. Or another chocolate. Okay, no such luck. Let's just max out our flycatcher then. So I picked up the axolotl because it gives permanent bonuses to pets who gain perks. We have this this radish on the fairy armadillo that is bestowing a random perk at the beginning of each battle. So the fairy armadillo is continuing to get bigger, but unfortunately, we're running across a lot of other pet get permanently bigger schemes here that have been generating more value than mine for a considerable amount of time, it seems. Real Flycatcher just completely turning off the opposing summon strategy.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's not a hard shutdown button. It deals 9 damage to a random enemy every time anything is summoned on the other side of the board. So it doesn't completely shut that stuff off, but it does a pretty good job. I got to think about like this pygmy hog's not really doing anything for the team. We got to find just like something else. Cerberus will summon
Robin,
pets. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. Robin wants someone to complain about the game with the wet cat in it. I don't know what the game with the wet cat in it is.
Are we talking about Kato or? I'm not watching chat right now, I will admit. So I'm playing this game so hard. I'm playing this for my life.
The stakes aren't that big, sweetheart.
The stakes are as big as you make them. All right? If you want to live your life feeling like they're not that big, then, you can. All right, a lot of stuff getting thrown back and forth. That's interesting. Okay, a very curious thing happened there that I really did not realize was a possibility. But it definitely redoubles my need to get rid of this pet from my Can we? I believe there is a way to review the last battle. Okay, yeah. Let me show you what happened there. So,
okay.
They have this tree kangaroo. At the start of battle, make the last perkless enemy silly, and then activate it twice. Silly is a debuff that causes the pet's abilities to have random targets. So, the thing that the pygmy hog does is it transforms itself into a 10-10 angry pygmy hog with garlic. Because of the way this works, the tree kangaroo puts silly on this guy and then activated his ability targeting 2 other members of, like, he turned my fairy armadillo into an angry pygmy hog. Which I would not have thought was possible given the way that this ability is worded. But that's deeply bizarre. So now I really do think we got to get rid of you. You got to go, buddy. You got to go, pal. Here we go. Here's what we're going to do. Big move. Farmer dog. Farmer dog's just going to give everybody food. So at the end of the turn, the farmer dog just gives everybody a corn cob, which raises their lowest stat by 1. But I think I'm behind the curve here. I think it's potentially over. Now, see, notice this. They got themselves a pretty big fairy armadillo, but I have the scorpion up front. Scorpion's super deadly, not because of anything to do with its tail or anything like that, but because it's covered in peanut oil, and all pets are allergic to peanuts. He just didn't take damage from the scorpion at all. Completely prevented the attack. That's annoying. How dare he? Okay.
Hey, you survived.
Yeah, we got that guy was basically running almost exactly the same strategy that we were. But my numbers were just a little bit north of his, so. This peanut thing is a good idea in theory. All I have to do is get some damage through from the scorpion. Like, the plan is just you trade with whatever, like, big scary thing they've put in front, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't work. Because they completely prevent the damage from the attack or whatever. There we go. That's a trade. Yep, and then they're doing some like backup summon stuff. We happen to be kind of in a sweet spot here where we're kind of punching through a couple of different prominent strategies in the pool at the same time. All right, dog.
Lazuli says that they're slowly making my way through the humankind portion of forest school. thought you'd find it interesting. The new beta gives units a food cost.
Yeah, I saw that. Just like maintaining a standing army has cost now.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I do think like they're continuing to work on humankind. It is continuing to mutate. It's not like unlike a lot of the other games that we are looking at in 4X School, which are sort of essentially things that are long dead. Humankind is still a living document. It is still changing, and like they're not afraid to make changes that go pretty deep into the systems, which I really do appreciate. So I'm gonna put a radish on my farmer dog as well. We can get 3 procs of this axolotl ability per turn. So let's have 3 radishes so that we're getting the full value.
Okay.
And at this point, you know, we lose 1 and we're out, or we win 3 and we're out, and it's just let's see where it goes. Okay, so this person has built up their team to some extent, a couple of 50-50s.
Yeah, I
Problematic. We lose here. That's too much buildup. That's an insane amount of buildup. The first pet had a perk that prevents up to 7 damage dealt to it 2 times, so that's why it didn't get peanut spiked. But obviously, we could have adjusted our math around that, and maybe still made it through there. But that's just a hard math wall that guy had constructed, and we were not able to climb over it. Hooray! Okay, that's the pre-stream. Thank you so much, everybody, for your patience. We're going to the gas cave, and it's time for the real stream. Hey, Amabel, what are we doing today?
You have me play something called Her Story?
Yeah, I thought about just like running through a bunch of demos today. You know, doing demo time for Next Fest, but this came up when we were talking about Hypnospace and other games where you're sort of like playing internet detective in one way or another, and I want to do it now, sort of while it still connects cleanly to that. I don't want to take a week off, so. All right, so you're feeding me that. Make sure you turn off your camera, please.
Oh yes, I keep forgetting. I'm sorry. Okay, you got it?
Almost. Turn off the text crawls. So, for those of you who are not familiar, Her Story is a game that came out in... Amabel, when did Her Story come out?
I don't know.
So why is this...
I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
You just told me to download it.
I did tell you to download it. I'm going to grab my Steam over here, and... Her Story is a game that came out quite some time ago. It is designed by a fellow named Sam Barlow. 2015 is the release date Steam has on this. Designed by a fellow named Sam Barlow, who has gone on to make a variety of other games, sort of expanding this style, is what I would say. Yeah, so just go ahead and have at it. You're not missing anything. This is how it opens. Welcome to the database here. Welcome to the Logic database.
You think it's murder? I mean, clearly it's murder. What can I do to help?
Oh, all right.
Yeah, that's me. But February, and that was months ago. What's that got to do with Simon's murder?
Okay.
I didn't murder Simon. You've got it wrong. You've got the wrong person. I'd like to speak to a lawyer now. Please. You have no murder weapon. You have nothing. And all these stories we've been telling each other, just that. Stories.
Okay, so before you do anything else here, hey Amabel, what's your first impression here?
Well, I'm getting these clips, this information, these tiny little clips. It does look like these two on the right are from the same session, the same meeting, or this one person's wearing red and then blue. Do these have dates?
They do. They have visible.
270694, 1794, 3794, 379. Yeah. So they hang on. Add to session. So let me put these kind of in order here. So I have some clips. I presume I'm going to get more clips. Maybe if I change in the search.
Okay, let me
So
before you hold on. Before you do that, do you maybe think there's anything else here that you should ought to do?
What would I do?
I don't want to. You know what? I don't want to interrupt your.
Read me. Here's the thing. No one ever reads readmes. Those aren't real.
I don't want to interrupt your method of approach too much here, but there are these things that are visible.
Type in the word. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's what I figured I would be doing.
Boy, you did not read. There's no way you read that.
I skimmed. I read it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Introduction to the logic database. Computer technology is the backbone of modern police work. The logic database is one of many key efforts to digitize our workflow and preserve evidence in a manner which will allow you to work more efficiently. Yep. Contains footage transferred from homicide and serious crime tape, archive at Portsmouth. ASR technology. Each statement is stored separately. Digitally stenographed. Yeah, type in a word into the search field and return all clips in which the speaker uses that word.
So I think this is the important part so that it's clear to you what you're searching for. You are searching the transcript of the clips, not anything else about the clips.
Yeah, I did understand.
You didn't understand that.
Name.
You were guessing at that,
no,
but you don't know.
Said murder in each of the clips.
Yeah, well, I say murder 15 times a day. What's your point?
And it's in all the clips I have archived with the word murder. So 99, and they got mouthful, no touch some sense. All right, let me search for Simon.
So yeah, here's the other little wrinkle. The server can only return 5 clips per search, no matter what you search. And I don't remember. I don't remember exactly how they're sorted. It's clearly not. It's clearly not date primary, as you saw in the first search. It might just be by how early the term occurs in the transcript or something. But yeah.
Yeah.
Simon Smith. He works at Ernst Brothers Glass. They do windows, all kinds of glass. Simon does the more special work, mirror making, feature windows, artistic things, really beautiful things.
Okay, 1806-94, and that's a different. Hang on, this is. Oh, so this is July 1st, because this is British dates, which are fucked and wrong. That's July 3rd. And that's June 27th. Yeah, because 27 isn't a month. That's right. Okay, it's June. That's July. Okay, so this comes actually here. This was an order then. Okay. Blasphemy, and this is June 18th, and this is June 27th, so this is the earliest clip. But let me.
You're
try,
causing a
Simon
revolt
Smith
in the
then.
chat.
Why is that?
I think you know why.
Okay, that's the only Simon Smith. It looks like, or is this?
Simon.
Yeah, this is the clip
Simon
I saw.
Smith. He works at Ernst Brothers Glass. They do windows or.
All right, so let's Ernst. Just the one Ernst. Okay. All right, let's try it. Let's go back to the Simon search and see what else we have here.
Simon is 6 foot, darkish blonde hair, average build. He's clean shaven. If his beard grows, it goes ginger, so he shaves it. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with ginger hair. I bought a photo. They said I should bring a photo.
Okay.
This was taken last year on holiday in Rome. It's the best one I have.
So at this point, he's missing, and then at this point, murdered.
I didn't murder Simon. You've got it wrong.
July
You've
3rd.
got the wrong person.
All right, so July 3rd, murdered, dead Simon. Alive, possibly missing, possibly alive, June 18th. Okay.
It's the Rockington Arms, The Rock. It's run by a nice couple, Peter and Susan. There's some other regulars there that Simon likes to drink with, and the barmaid they're having sometimes, Helen. Peter said Simon had been in and had a few drinks. Yes, there's an Amstrad one. No one uses it for very much. There's a printer so you can write letters on it. Simon sometimes plays games, you know, climb the tower, save the princess, that kind of thing. Simon isn't the type to run off or do anything crazy. Someone must have done something to him, or there must have been some kind of accident. So what do we do next?
It's interesting that the two men's names I've received are Simon and Peter, and they would meet at The Rock. That's interesting, isn't it?
I mean, sort of, to some extent. That's just like, you know, the Bible has had a lot of effect on the way things are named in the Western world.
Sure, but in the Bible, the guy Simon.
Do you want me to give you the formal spoiler that this has nothing to do with the story of Jesus Christ? Because I will go ahead and say that right now. This is not about Jesus Christ. except of course in the way that all things are about Jesus Christ. Praise Him. You know. Did that feel weird?
Only mention of Peter.
It felt weird coming out. I don't know if it sounded weird.
So, it was Friday evening. We had an argument. He left. On Saturday, he didn't come back. I waited all day. He was supposed to go help Eric out with something on the Saturday afternoon. They had a job. He didn't show. So Eric was ringing on the phone. I checked at The Rock, that's our local. They said they'd seen him on the Friday night, but not since. He still wasn't back this morning. It just isn't like him at all. Still not back by dinner time. It's getting dark again. So I decided to come see you. His parents haven't heard anything either.
Okay, June 18th was a Saturday, 1994, so it was quite okay.
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, I guess The Rock. You've spoken to everyone there? Someone must have seen where he went. I don't know. So many things could have gone wrong. No, no one has been in the last few weeks. We had a plumber come in 3-4 weeks ago. Someone summoned you from the rock.
Yeah, it's only plumber. All right. Let's try a different tack.
So try a different tack to what? Like, what are you doing right now?
I mean, right now I'm just searching for information, and I typed a name here because I'm wondering if she identifies herself.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Hannah. Hannah. It's palindrome. It reads the same backwards as forwards. It doesn't work if you mirror it though. It's not quite symmetrical, but well, you get the idea. Sorry. Hannah Smith. I live at 31 Gladstone Street.
Okay. Hannah and Simon. Okay.
I would have been a good mother. I was young, but I would have been a good mother. She was a girl, by the way, the baby. We were going to call her Sarah. Simon wanted to call her Ava after his nana, but I didn't want her to have a symmetrical name.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, you got me. I'll confess. We were there. It was a dirty weekend. Simon was going to expense it, pretend it was a business trip. I used a made-up name. We stayed at the hotel, had room service, didn't leave the room, had a great view of the river, and you could hear the church bells. Like you said, it was very romantic.
Okay. What the?
Yes, my name is Hannah Smith. Oh, shit. Sorry. My name? That was the only question I failed. Your lie detector works.
Well, this is interesting. This is.
What are you doing talking about you?
Sweetheart, do you know Morse code?
I do know some Morse code. Those were pretty long sequences of. Those were too long for them to be doing the thing that you are considering that they might be doing. Bosvender and Den Hollander, this is her story.
Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time. The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead. But I wasn't. She wrote all this stuff in a diary. Amazing what people will admit to on paper.
Okay. That's... What? Why is music? Why is it music?
Video games have music in them sometimes. That's just sort of a thing of the genre.
She recognized me from the window. She told me to come inside, and she hid me. They had made the attic into a place where Hannah could play. There was a dollhouse. She hid me up there. No one else ever went into the attic. It was her place.
Okay.
You want me to play something?
Oh no.
I'm not the world's greatest guitar player. Okay? Probably needs tuning. No. How about a traditional ballad? Should be right up your street.
Yeah, here comes her bitchin' cover of I Am the Chowder Man.
There were two sisters came walking by the sea. Oh, the wind and the rain. The eldest one pushed the other one in. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. So they both had a love for the captain's son. Oh, the wind and the rain. But he only cared for the youngest one. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. Oh, the eldest envied her sister fair. Oh, the wind and the rain. With a pretty little face and her long blonde hair. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. So she pushed her in and held her down. Oh, the wind and the rain. Watched her as she slowly drowned. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. Oh, she floated up and she floated down. Oh, the wind and the rain. Floated till a ship came by. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. Out comes the captain's son. Oh, the wind and the rain. Father dear, here swims and swans. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And then it gets really weird, so I think that's a good place to stop.
Yeah, so the Robin Bendis notes, this is why attorneys always advise that you not play guitar during interrogations. That is in case you were curious. Oh, you are real
When she went home, Sam had a birthday.
very eager here. You are just
really
not
was.
interested in taking any time to talk about what's going on, or
I'm trying. I'm gathering
Okay.
information. I'm
you're
trying to
seeming
orient
very
myself.
pulled along here.
All right. I mean, I know the next thing I want to
Okay.
search, but I want to get through these clips
Okay.
first.
Well, I just wanted to take a moment and say that for those who are not familiar, that is a real song that does predate the game pretty significantly.
Yeah,
Um,
that I
Okay.
know.
and also just to let the chat breathe a little bit, you
Okay.
know. I will
Yeah.
say I think that was pretty fast. I've played the game myself, obviously, and I've watched a few other people play it. It was pretty quick to figuring out that it's not just one person we're talking about. It usually takes
Well, I mean,
people
she
longer.
talked about being in the, being in the womb and the umbilical cord. So
Well, no, but I mean, you saw that clip after you figured it out, though. You figuring out is how you got to that
I
clip.
don't. No, I figured it out by searching for name and typed in the name Hannah, and then that gave me that clip. That's when I started. I need to find out what her name was. You know.
I think the record will show.
When she went home, Simon had a birthday tea waiting. Afterwards, she told Simon about me, told him I was pregnant. She wanted me to move in with them, this sister he didn't know she had. She knew that instant. The look on his face.
Ah! Don't care for
She sent
that.
him out the house, kicked him out, called me up, crying, and I went round. I guess I had a feeling I could hear something was wrong in her voice, but I wasn't sure what it was. She called me sister on the phone. She never calls me that. My sister is gone. And she's never coming back.
For the record, you are not the only person who was not in favor of the sort of fourth wall reflection.
Okay. So my next search is gonna be tattoo, because there's a tattoo here, and then all the other shirts are covering. So, and a tattoo would be a
That's a
distinguishing.
good eye.
Is that the right number of T's in
Yes,
tattoo?
that is correct.
No, he doesn't have any tattoos. He has a scar down here near his stomach, past his hip. Cut himself with some glass. That was before, a long time ago. He looks just like the photo. He's not got his glasses on here though. He takes them off with the camera. But he needs them to see properly, you know. He has to read a newspaper or a menu in a restaurant. Not book so much, or watching TV. Relaxed. Oh, my tattoo. I got it to express my individuality. It's an apple and a snake.
Okay, well, we've heard the name.
I would like to
Eve,
reiterate,
so
this is
I'm wondering
not
if
the
it's
story of
canon
Jesus
Eve.
Christ.
Well, no, Eve. That's a different part of the
It's a
book,
gem.
sweetheart. It's a different book. It is weird though that you have a character named Simon and a character named Peter, and it's at a place called The Rock. That's if that's not on purpose, it's very.
So I moved out. Got a small bedstead. Got my tattoo to mark the occasion. I was singing in the bar in the evenings, so I had some money, enough money to cover my rent. And I've been doing something similar ever since. I haven't put down any roots. I don't exist. He saw me singing one of my shows, pure chance. Not sure I remember what he was even doing there. Afterwards, I had a drink at the bar and he came over and we got talking. I knew who he was. Obviously I knew who he was, but he didn't know who I was. He was fascinated by the likeness. He guessed my name from my tattoo. Told me it was a palindrome, like that would impress me. I enjoyed talking to him. It was amazing to be able to sit and interact and talk to him after all this time. He didn't tell me he was married. I'm not sure what he was thinking. He later told me it was like he was dreaming. A waking dream.
Okay. So. Right. So that's this person. Can I? Yeah, I can tag this.
Yeah. So there are no pre-existing tags, but you can give the clips your own tags.
Is this Hannah?
So fake Alex Blue asks, has there been an in-universe reason why the video files are all chopped up? They're chopped up into individual responses according to the README for the purpose of submitting them as testimony in court.
My name is Hannah. H-A-N-N-A.
Yeah, so that's Hannah.
You think it's murder? I mean, clearly it's murder. What can I do to help?
And I don't know. That's on June 27th. I don't know which. All right, let's. Well, there's a lie detector, and that was. That's the same outfit?
I think so. The same date.
My name? That was the only question I failed. Yes, my name is Hannah Smith.
Okay. Pretend Hannah.
So, like, one of the things that obviously a game like this...
11:27:01.
One of the things that obviously a game like this explores is sort of like the kinds of assumptions that you are likely to make when given partial information, right? And the way that further information can influence your hold of those events. So, like, the thing she said about not wanting the child to have a symmetrical name. Right? It seems kind of like one thing at first, and then you learn that there's two women and they both have symmetrical names, or they both have palindromic names, and that shifts your understanding of what she meant by that to some degree, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely does. All right, this is June 30th, which... Hang on, so I have June 18th, July 3rd, June 27th. Okay, so that's going to go here. And then June 30th. All right, let's...
Well, my friend Eve. I mean, she was the same from when I was a kid. And she was always more popular with the boys, and I used to hate her for it. I mean, really hate her sometimes. Yes. We'd fight. We fought on the beach once, and I held Eve's head underwater. There was no one else around. It was at the far end of the beach, and I held her head under, and I kept it at.
Hmm.
And for a moment, I just wanted to kill her and watch her drown. But that was it. It was just a moment. We made up after. It was a love-hate relationship.
So keep talking to us about your thought process, though. You know, keep it.
Yeah. Well, I'm right. So I got more clips. I'm looking at the
Yeah.
clips, and I'm sorry.
You're okay.
So I'm trying to get more information about Eve. 10 entries found. Access limit is the first 5 entries. So I'll see how. So how am I going to get the other 5 entries? Probably by having a word to narrow it down. So watching these clips, I can search Eve and Hannah together and see if anything comes up. Let me watch this clip and then.
A police station. Yeah. When I was young, we ran away on my birthday. Bob Dylan was playing in London, and we thought we could break into his tour bus and have him take us with him. The taxi driver we paid to drop us off. I mean, we'd saved money, hitched a bit here and there to pay for the fare. He was suspicious because we were so young, so he told the police. So they came and picked us up and took me back to Portsmouth. My mum picked me up from the station. But I blamed everything on my friend Eve. So my parents let me off.
And this is the one where she's like, "Why are you talking about?"
What are you doing talking about Eve?
Yeah, so Nikki D, this is Amabel is playing a game called Her Story, which came out in 2015.
So we're getting some. Wait, how did I move that there? That's not. Okay. All right, so let me search for Eve and Hannah together and see if I find any extra clips on what I've seen. There's an extra clip. All right.
Mum and Dad had never had any reason to notice. They were always busy. If Hannah was eating a lot, they didn't mind. She didn't put on any weight. That girl has a healthy appetite. If they heard us talking in the attic, they just thought it was Hannah playing one of her games, and that Eve was our imaginary friend. Once, she was already up and dressed and ready to go to school, and I snuck down for a piss. Mum saw me in my underwear, she went mad. Get dressed this instant! So I ducked into our bedroom, and seconds later, out came Hannah, dressed and ready. Mum was amazed.
Wait, what?
Hmm?
Hang on, let me watch that one again. Hang on.
Mum and Dad had never had any reason to notice. They were always busy. If Hannah was eating a lot, they didn't mind. She didn't put on any weight. That girl has a healthy appetite. If they heard us talking in the attic, they just thought it was Hannah playing one of her games, and that Eve was our imaginary friend. Once, she was already up and dressed and ready.
So that's a little hard for me to parse.
It is. That's a strange thing that woman just said. What are you making of it?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a secret person in the attic, but that doesn't.
Well, she mentioned.
I don't.
Right? She mentioned before.
Right. Mentioned. Can you refresh me a little here? Because it's a lot of information.
I mean,
for me
the attic certainly.
Okay. Well, let me search Eve friend. Yeah, nothing new. Let me search attic.
Yes. I inherited it from my parents, so it made sense to move back. Me and Simon. Felt like going back to old ways before the pregnancy. Reminded me of being a girl, a dollhouse in the attic, old things. We didn't sleep in my parents' bedroom for a long time. We decorated it as soon as we moved in, but it was another year before we started sleeping there.
Okay, and this is the 5th, which I don't think we have in the timeline yet. Because that's the 18th, 27th. Okay. And that's no tattoo, so that is Hannah. Oh, it switches. That's what it's doing. It's not okay. All right, this is a little difficult to navigate here, but all right. All right, and then Red.
Yes, I read a lot as a child and watched lots of TV. Then the doll's house we had and still have in the attic. It's kind of a fairy castle. We used to play up there and make up our own stories.
Okay.
Could the hairs have come from somewhere else? I mean, could they... We have a lot of dolls in the attic. There's a Rapunzel doll with long blonde hair. Could they have come from there?
Simon has blonde hair. I remember that. Okay.
I'm not sure where the dollhouse came from. I don't know if it was given to them or they inherited it. I mean, they wouldn't have had the money to buy it. It was so huge. It must have been taken up to the attic in parts and then reassembled up there. It's a beautiful thing. Wallpaper to scale, little furniture, the lights work, mirrors, beds, big duvets and pillows. We spent hours and hours playing in it, invented all these characters and families who lived there. We wrote paperwork for them all, passports, diaries, gave them all really elaborate stories. Once, a moth got trapped in there. We'd left a light on. It was making the most horrendous noise. We tried to kill it, but it was tough. We ended up crushing it under a copy of the Arabian Nights.
Okay. Well, let me search the dollhouse. That's interesting. I'm also gonna search for hair after that. Oh, there's another dollhouse clip. Okay.
The legal stuff was completed very quickly. Hannah moved back in with Simon. Eric gave Simon the week off to help with the move. He decorated, modernised wallpaper curtains. Hannah insists the attic be left as it was, dollhouse and all. Simon never went up there.
Ah, and that's Eve talking, and she mentioned someone named Eric just now, so let me find out about Eric.
He was wearing a shirt, a blue turtleneck shirt and jeans. He has a watch. It's a really nice one. That was a gift from his boss, Eric. He had his coat, a long grey duffel coat, like Paddington Bear. He would have taken that with him. It's not in the house. Yes, there's a car that we share, a Cavalier, and a van he uses for work. It's owned by Eric, but we look after it. Both of them are there now, parked in the street. I'm not sure about the keys for the van. I can look for you when I get back. Yes, that would be in his wallet. It's a Visa, a silver one. He doesn't like to spend money he doesn't have, so he usually pays with cash, but Eric convinced him to get one. Eric was like an uncle to him. They were pretty close. They spend a lot of time with each other, especially when they have to go to conferences. Have you met his wife, Diane?
Okay, I'm gonna So I'm gonna keep pulling at the thread of the two people. So I'm gonna look for parent or parents. I don't know if it is. I guess let's find out. If I type in parent, I get those clips. If I do parents, do I get the same clips? It does look to be the same clips. So I think possibly that the system's.
I got pregnant. Both our parents had a big powwow. We weren't even in the room. And they decided we should get married. No. I lost the baby.
Bad.
And a miscarriage at 8 months. We carried on living at Simon's parents until, well, it was only a few months after.
That's rough. That's late.
Then my parents died.
Yeah.
It was the worst year of my life. A miscarriage and then my parents.
The 25th. Which, yeah, we know that's Hannah. Okay.
Yes, I'm fine. I won't be sick again. This happens some days. I'm pregnant. It's morning sickness. No. Well, yes. He found out on my birthday. I told him I was pregnant. It's Rapunzel. The story starts when she's born. Mother Gothel, a witch, takes Rapunzel from her parents and keeps her locked up in this tower. Rapunzel gets pregnant by the prince, and Mother Gothel is furious, so she cuts off her hair and throws it. Actually, her hair's already short here, so that's already happened. So she throws her into the wilderness, and Rapunzel is reunited with the prince, who's blind, but she kills him with her tears, and so it's a happy ending. Is that too much?
Lazuli says in chat, this is the same team that did Immortality. That's why it feels familiar.
Let's go. I was exhausted. The streets were.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
This was obviously a much smaller production than Immortality was, and in between, Sam Barlow and his folks made a game called Telling Lies, which is also it is also a footage review video game, but in a sort of a different way.
Yeah, now I did watch pretty much your whole playthrough of Immortality. So, like, this does have some familiarity to it. I don't have any rewind functionality, though, it seems, so that's a shame.
When I arrived in Glasgow, I was exhausted. The streets were empty. I was driving badly, and I hit a taxi. Not a big crash, just paintwork. The guy was so pissed off because I didn't have a driving license on me. But when I told him I was pregnant, he made sure I got to the hospital so they could check me out. It was fine. The hospital must have details when I was looked at. There's a scratch on the car.
So, I'm thinking.
Yeah. What do you think?
Let me search Rapunzel. Okay. Well, the thing is, there's a lot of I'm not getting like evidence so much as I'm getting like thematic echoes.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm searching for that. I'm searching for, okay, well, this other girl, this twin. I didn't search for the word twin. That might be actually. Let me do that first. Being possibly kept hidden, locked away. That's a very I don't know, has a
Twins?
sense to it.
Really? Are you really asking me that question?
Huh.
Are you out of your mind? Twins? Florence took me home with her. Mother hadn't been expecting twins and had a healthy baby. I guess she was just happy for Florence to clean up. Take away the evidence that this was anything but a happy occasion.
Okay. That's okay. I'm getting this has a very like trashy 80s novel vibe.
Yeah. There's a definite pulpiness to it.
Yeah. Like Family Secrets, Hidden Children, kind of VC Andrews to a degree. Let's see what's going on here.
There were always princes and princesses. They were the special people, more important than the other characters in their stories. We knew we were like that. Twins. Magical. We were the princesses. We had a poster of Princess Diana from the newspaper up in our attic. Had a pride of place. And underneath we used to put all our special things. When her engagement was announced, we were obsessed with everything she did. And later, when her life went so bad, we felt for her. Her divorce last year just kind of drew a line under things.
Let me search Rapunzel again. Or this was the one about the story? Yeah.
It's Rapunzel.
Okay, so my read on this is that the one who's all fairy tales and shit, that's Eve. This is probably Eve. And because when Eve is trying to impersonate Hannah, it's the long sleeves to try to not show the tattoo, which is only is visible at this latest interview date. Presumably after she, So
Yeah,
so
I think that makes a lot of sense.
There's Hannah, there's Eve probably, and Eve pretending to be Hannah, and she's called out for it, and then, she drops the facade.
Yeah, these are Sanuki D. These are police interviews, not interrogations. At least as far as we know, there's not been any files charged against the women. They're just the police have asked them to come in.
I did glance at chat here and see Andrew Dunn saying the vibe for me is more a Lifetime movie. Yeah, a lot of I think those are kind of forms that are in conversation with each other.
For sure.
Like a lot of Lifetime movies are based. Yeah, I watched so many Lifetime movies back in the day.
Sorry. The picture, the way it's drawn, just reminded me of the books we used to read as children. I read those fairy tales over and over, and they were so real to me. Rapunzel was my favourite. My brain is just full of it. How many of these in colour?
They spelled color wrong, I noticed.
Did I pass? Sorry, I messed it up with all that Rapunzel stuff. Do you need me to do that card again?
Oh, that's like a Rorschach kind of thing. Okay.
We were obsessed with fairy tales. not just the pretty ones, but the traditional ones. They were dark and real, bizarre and violent. Felt like life. We had this huge old book that I think Mum must have bought from a library sale. The illustrations had thin tracing paper over them to protect them. They were in colour, shiny plates. At the front of the book was an index of illustrations. We read that more than the actual stories. We'd read aloud the captions and flip between the pictures. There was something intimate about peeling back the tracing paper and dressing the pictures. Rapunzel's hair is cut. The eagle plucks out his heart. The princess pricks her finger.
It's interesting. Fake Alex Blue says in the chat, for what it's worth, in the UK, interrogation isn't a word that's used in police questioning. They're all interviews. The distinction in American policing is that during an interview, you are free to go. During an interrogation, you are in custody, and you cannot leave.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite fairy tale, sweetheart?
Oh, boy, that's interesting. I haven't thought about. I guess not.
Florence raised me in her home. I never left it. She kept me out of sight. It wasn't odd for people to see a midwife with a baby, carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing.
I can rewind. Okay, and pause. Okay, that's good.
Carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing. I never knew any different. I grew up looking out of my window and seeing her across the road. I thought it was like a reflection in the mirror. She was me.
Obviously, my favorite is probably the juniper tree. Juniper tree's real fucked up. That's nice.
Florence was a warm, kind person. But she was broken, I guess. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin with other stuff in it. Older papers, letters, that kind of thing. Her story wasn't there. I never really spoke to her about it. I was far too young to really understand, I guess. I just put it together later, once I was older. She had loved children, planned to have a large family, but her husband died in the war. And that was back when you married for life. She never felt like she could marry again. Isn't that strange? She was a widow from her 20s. But, I mean, I guess it was different then. You know, you married for life and she felt she could never marry again. I guess it was harder, a war widow. One of the dead. I don't know, maybe there was more to it than that. I don't really know. No, it was just me and her. It was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it and were going to try when he came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember, that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week.
Hey there, Amy. Welcome. We're just playing Her Story, a sort of non-linear investigation game from 2015 here. So where are you at right now, thought-wise, with what you're dealing with, Amabel?
Yeah. So I have a rough idea of what's going on. Of course, I don't know what's going on with Simon yet. If he is dead, if did Eve maybe move in at some point, or just or was there like an affair? Let me search for the word affair. That's a nice juicy word to search for.
An affair? Simon wasn't having an affair.
Oh, okay.
Well, there
then I
you
guess
go.
That's a dead end.
You're reaching here. And I don't know why. No, I've never cheated on anyone. I've never taken anything from anyone. Simon is dead. But I have my baby to care for. Why are you trying to make me sad? Why are you so obsessed with sex and affairs? You cheated on your wife. Is this your thing? What did your wife do? She didn't kill you. You think I killed Simon because he was having an affair? Well, I didn't kill him. I wasn't even there. I was in Glasgow worrying about whether my baby was still growing inside me. I mean, why would I kill Simon? I loved him.
Okay. All right. And she doesn't consider that to be an affair, but she had to know. I mean, she had to know that he was married. Did marry Hannah, same last name. Just a one clip for Mary, and that is.
Florence was a warm, kind person.
Let me try the word marriage or wedding. Wedding's a good word. Yeah, I got some clips from wedding.
I guess you could call it that, but we were both happy to get married. It was a beautiful wedding. We had our first dance to Come Back and Stay. I'm not sure if that's a good wedding song, but I loved it. I chose it. I mean, it was genuinely our first dance. We'd never danced together before. It was probably awful to watch, but I enjoyed it. It felt like it was just me and Simon for that moment. Just the two of us. We spent the wedding night in a hotel in Brighton. It would have been too much to do more. We were saving for the baby. It was wonderful to be in a hotel, away from home, just alone together. Since then, we've always tried to get away for our holiday.
This is her pretending to be Hannah.
Yeah, that's Simon's watch. It was a gift from Eric. He got it this year. It was a wedding anniversary gift. Steel. It would have been Diane who chose it. She has really nice taste. That time, you must eliminate me. I was in Glasgow then.
Amy in the chat noting, good grief,
Yeah.
a surprise she didn't toss back her hair. Yeah, there's a quality to the performance that is very it is very dramatic, and it is very of a piece with like the characterization in those like Lifetime movies and stuff. I really like it. I think it's very well observed.
People said Simon looked very handsome in the photos. His parents paid for everything, but he's an only child, so it was important to them. It was what they called a shotgun wedding, but if you looked at the photos, you couldn't tell. The dress was beautiful. It looked like Princess Diana's. The train wasn't quite as long though. There's a great photo of the bridesmaid helping to carry it out of the car. No, parents decided there would be a wedding. And after the wedding, Hannah moved in with his parents. There was no way I could follow, so we were separated again. I stayed in the attic. It was hard. It's like I suddenly didn't exist. I would sneak out, but in case anyone recognized me, I started wearing a wig. Hannah and I would meet up in the park. I was trying to get pregnant, but I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't do it with anyone we knew, so it was sex with strangers, drunk guys I'd met in clubs, parks and alleyways. I was 17. It felt like I was being punished. But it was Hannah who had betrayed us. I had to stop when one of the guys gave me an STD. When we met up, it was disturbing. For the first time, my reflection, she didn't look like me. She was fatter, flushed. If anything, I was getting skinnier. I found it hard to look sometimes. We talked about what to do. Was it time to become our own people? I mean, that seemed like the right thing to do, but neither of us wanted it. We agreed that her and Simon would get their own place as soon as possible, and then I could move in. And that was the plan.
Okay, that's a lot of information.
That's a lot of information. Yeah. So I'm getting 5 out of the 6 clips for wedding. So let me see
if you can tweak
if
it a
I
bit.
search wedding Hannah. Do I get the other clip? If I do wedding dress. Any suggestions, sweetheart? What else can I use with wedding?
James B asks in the chat, did we get an SP and Amabel Game of the Year video for 2024? No, not yet.
That will happen.
Yeah,
though.
it will happen. I actually just recently finished playing the stuff that was on my list of 2024 things to check out, so we haven't gotten there yet, but we will.
I've been trying to explore a couple things, and I just haven't had much time, unfortunately. So I don't know how much I'm going to contribute or not. Wedding. She say it was a shotgun wedding.
She did.
Nah, that's just one. So the thing where she says that she doesn't know if it's where she said that she didn't cheat, she didn't take anything from anybody, either implies that she feels that she and Hannah are like a single entity, and so she had a right to it, or what if there was a okay. I've seen this clip before, apparently.
There were always princes and princesses. They were the special people, more important than the other.
Oh, right. That's the Princess Diana divorce. Okay. All right. So I have information about them, but maybe I should redirect more towards the murder in this murder investigation story, disappearance story.
Yeah, it was sort of like it was the initial thing that drew your attention, and then we got pulled away, and we still really have no idea what happened to poor Simon.
The women are more interesting. Okay. Weapon. They said there wasn't a weapon. I've seen that clip. Okay. Motive. Let's see. He's a glass worker. There's some more glass clips. Let's check those out.
It wasn't the present so much. It was one of those arguments that had been simmering for a while. The present was a mirror. A nice mirror. He'd engraved the glass, the kind of mirror a princess would have in a story. He made it specially for me. Look, on his clothes, that would make sense. He made it by hand. And he brushes the silver onto the glass. That's not how they make mirrors these days. And he made the mirror, and he gave it to me. No, I've had enough coffee for today, thanks. Glass of water.
That glass, okay.
Yeah, so sounds like something happened to the mirror?
Yeah. 11 entries found. Okay, let's do these two, and then let's see if I can find more entries.
The mirror. I can't remember. I put it somewhere safe. Upstairs, I think. Haven't looked at it since. Silver leaf? No. He normally silvers them properly. This mirror, it's supposed to look antique. The reflection isn't as good. It's the perfect mirror for someone who doesn't like to look at their own reflection.
Let's try mirror. Type, please. Break. Broken.
It happened very quickly. We hardly had to talk to each other. We agreed almost silently. The baby was what mattered. We'd help each other. We cleaned up. We bagged up the broken mirror, her clothes. They're gone. We took him down to the cellar. We had an alibi, and we wanted the body to be found later. We wanted to have suspicion on us, so we could then disprove it, rather than have it linger. Better to keep the body in the house than risk being seen with it. The watch, that was my touch, to make sure the alibi stuck.
Okay. All right. So, cellar is something I want to look at, but let me look at watch, because we've heard about a watch before. We've seen all the watch clips. Okay, the watch was from Eric.
His boss gave it to him.
Boss. That's Hannah. That's even. Okay, let me look at these again.
He was wearing a shirt, a blue turtleneck shirt and jeans. He has a watch. It's a really nice one. That was a gift from his boss, Eric. He had his coat. Yeah, that's Simon's watch. It was a gift from Eric. He got it this year. It was a wedding anniversary gift. Steel. It would have been Diane who chose it. She has really nice taste.
Okay, so let me search for cellar. Is this the one I saw?
It happened very quickly.
Yeah, okay. And this one is Hannah. The other two are you pretending to be Hannah. Let's check out Hannah first.
Well, fine, considering. I got back into the house today, and that was weird, knowing your people had been there through my things. It's like I'd been burgled. I mean, worse, obviously. I don't know. I haven't looked in the cellar yet. They sent a cleaner in. As good as new, he said. But they had to throw some stuff out. Couldn't get the blood out. And I'm still waiting to hear from the coroner so we can get a date set for the funeral. It's going to be a cremation. So,
Fake Alex Blue asks in the chat, is Hannah a biblical name? I don't know the Bible well enough to know if there's a symbolic connection there.
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
The answer is yes. Hannah is. I know Hannah is a biblical name. I don't know anything about Hannah in the Bible, but I do know that it is a name from the Bible.
Yeah, it's
apparently she's the mother of Samuel. So this is Old Testament, It
was after dinner. I'd spoken to Sam's parents on the phone. I looked up for an early night and I suddenly had this thought. I think it was something his mum had said. She'd been speaking about old stuff, sad stuff, about when we lived there, about the baby. There's some boxes in the cellar, nursery stuff we never needed, and I never had the heart to throw out. And I suddenly remembered that when I'd looked down there the week before, those boxes, that pile was in the wrong place. I went cold all over. I went down there with a torch and went straight to the back, and that's when I saw the bin bags. Pulled them open, saw the body. I screamed, and that's when I called the police.
I know what they mean by torch, but every single time I hear someone, I hear a British person say, I took the torch, I used the torch, whatever, I do have a moment of vision in my head of like a fucking fantasy medieval ass, stick wrapped in burning rags.
Right. So when I use the word torch like that, what do you? Because I'm not British.
Yeah, you also don't do this.
I do. I almost always refer to what you would call a flashlight as a torch or an electric torch. It has happened.
The whole thing was wrong. The bags, I think they were from our kitchen. You can probably check that. I never go into the cellar. It's just a place we put things we don't need. Dad used to grow mushrooms there. The bags were taped up. I think it was parcel tape. I think it was ours.
Okay. Let's search for body.
Okay.
Yeah.
The bruise. I have a really fast metabolism, so stuff like that just comes and goes. I don't know if there's much more that I can tell you that I haven't already told the other policemen. I found the body.
Okay, wait. Where was there a bruise? Did she have a bruise?
Simon Smith. He works at Ernst Brothers Glass. They do windows, all kinds of glass. Simon does the more special.
Not that I can.
I don't think we've seen an identifiable bruise.
His body didn't look real. His throat. It looked like his throat had been cut. And I didn't see his glasses. There's these thick glasses. It doesn't always wear.
Music?
Really? Okay. Here's the rest.
Laid a body on the
So I actually really like the way that the song's been broken up into the 2 clips and having to find the second clip to get the rest of the song.
Yeah, why is that?
I think that's a good use of the. I think that's a good use of this format of this conceit, and I think it's getting a lot out of it. I know. I had read something someone wrote about the other game that was that these people did, Immortality, and which said, well, is it really a game? And like, yeah, this is really a game. You're interacting with it. You're using the rules of the game to find information. And I like the kind of reward here of coming across the second darker part of the song and having it broken up in that way. I think that's really really smart and gives it kind of a narrative payoff, but also kind of, I don't know. I really like it. I think it's really clever. I'm enjoying this. I know I'm not doing a great job talking through my process. I'm just like, oh, well, let's.
I
Look
think
at
you're
this,
doing
let's look
fine,
at
actually.
That.
You were pretty quiet at first, but I
But
think you're doing fine now.
But I do legitimately enjoy this kind of figuring stuff out. This feels a little bit like having to refine the search results. It feels a little bit like research because I've done some research trying to find out information, historical information, or more recently I'm trying to find information about um, older board games, the people who created them, and a lot of it is just finding the right words to trick the different databases into giving the information that you need, and tracking down the different like little. You have this whole web of things fanning out and things collapse back into each other, and it's incomplete. You never quite get everything, but like that's a process I find really fulfilling. So I really yeah, I really am enjoying this, and if you can find me more games where I have to solve mysteries, I'm cool with that. Let's check out this clip.
Can you imagine? I tried. I tried to get pregnant too, but it didn't happen. I slept with so many boys, men. My body refused. I think my period stopped because hers had. I was pretty ill. I mean, how could we stay the same now? I felt like Hannah had really fucked things up. Set us down separate paths. We had become different.
I appreciate the kind of Dead Ringers-esque science fiction of twins kind of thing here, or yeah, that's
or
that's rad.
the one being so devastated by the idea of the separation.
Baby clips I haven't seen yet. So I obviously they killed him and put him in the cellar, and
Just
I'm not
so
sure what
itchy. Sorry.
In place. Simon dropped out of school, went full time with the Glaziers. That was Eric's generosity. And we moved in with his mum and dad. They had a spare room for us and the baby that they came. It was a nice change, time to myself, living there for those months, full of hope. Yes. It was a shock to him. I mean, we never thought it was possible. I don't know what I hadn't decided whether to keep the baby. I wasn't really ready to talk to him about it.
Ah.
She mentioned her birthday. What?
Nothing.
Yeah, let's check that again.
Yes. It was a shock to him. I mean, we never thought it was possible. I don't know what he... I mean, I hadn't decided whether to keep the baby. I wasn't really ready to talk to him about it.
So, Eva mentioned her birthday at some point. So I'm just searching birthday, and let's see what I have here.
Yes, that's my birthday. Not one of the big ones, but I guess you can see that.
Okay, not one of the big holidays, maybe?
Well, I think.
It was my birthday, like you said.
Oh,
Like,
like
yeah,
it wasn't
not like a big,
birthday.
not like a big important year or anything.
I guess people have
Yeah,
that.
not like 30.
It's a 0. Yeah.
Birthday, like you said. We were going to have a meal at home. We had our meal. He gave me his present. I guess I didn't like the present. From when I woke up. Okay. I woke up. Simon was already up and he made me birthday breakfast of eggs Benedict. We both had to go to work, so we saved presents till later. I got to work, had some birthday cake, children sang me happy birthday, then I came home. The birthday meal was a takeaway, and Simon gave me his present, which I didn't mind. And after that, we talked about the baby. It turned into a big argument. Simon left. I was furious. I wanted to get as far away as I could and get some space to think. So I left.
I feel like if I had come into this, because this is non-linear, and I'm kind of sloshing around to find things. Like I figured out that she's impersonating Hannah before this, but if I hadn't and I come across this, I would see the thing where she's like, "Oh, I didn't like the present," and then I didn't mind it as like, "Oh, there's something going on there." So I like that there's multiple ways to get into this.
Yeah, and to be clear, Amy's saying in the chat, I have no idea who this lady is or what she did. Like, that's you really haven't missed very much. You didn't show up very late. This game starts with you put down in front of this computer with no idea what's going on, and you just kind of have to stumble around in the archives a bit until you start to discover this story. So we're all kind of in the same boat a little bit. We know that there's these two women and a man who has been killed, and we're kind of trying to piece together what it is that happened between a lot of them.
Yeah, and what I've sort of pieced together from this is that these two women who are twin sisters, but one was a secret twin who may spend some of her time living in the attic, and they would impersonate her other twin, probably from a kind of a well-to-do family is what I'm thinking. The one woman, Hannah, married a guy named Simon when they were going to have a kid but had a miscarriage, and then the other woman is now pregnant with his child, and then he's dead, and I think they've killed him and put him in the cellar.
Something happened. It certainly seems that he died while they were both present.
Yeah, and wanted to. Maybe the baby did it. Maybe the baby was born early and did it. And that they wanted to cast suspicion on themselves so they then could be cleared of suspicion when the body was found. Which is kind of a novel way to do it, I guess.
ago. It would have been the Saturday before my birthday. You know, I get like that on the weekends, have a lie-in, then want to get up and blitz the house.
It's my birthday present. No, same information. Strike cut because his throat was cut.
Mother wanted me to grow my hair long, but I kept cutting it myself. I wanted to look like my reflection. She always had short hair when she was little. Mother would hide the scissors, but I would find a way. Cut it with a bread knife, something like that. My reflection would always leave her house and go on adventures, but I never could. Mother taught me at home, and I had books and TV. Oh, TV was magical, but it was only on when it wanted to be, so I spent a lot of time reading books.
Can I make a suggestion?
They found his hair. Yeah.
I was going to suggest blood, maybe?
Oh,
You
blood's
got
probably
something,
better.
though.
Let me get this clip and the.
What kind of hairs?
Oh, all right. Yeah, no, blood's a good one. You always go for the blood first. I understand.
I'm a very blood-forward person.
Okay. I've given blood before. Do you need to take that for your records? Nothing like this has ever happened to me before. Blood. It's probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Like I said before, it was 3, something like that. I walked in, saw Simon. He was on the floor of the living room. His throat had been cut. There was a lot of blood. He was dead. She was sat behind him. She had my wig on. And she'd been there all day. And she had blood on her. And she was in shock.
Those are all 5 clips with blood in it. Okay. Huh.
So, Z Falcon King says in the chat, Amabel, that's a wild synopsis. I hadn't gotten that far at all. This is maybe a good moment to sort of like point out to you that even if something seems obvious to you, make sure that you're like vocalizing realizations and stuff as you put it together, because you want the audience to be in the same place that you're at.
I'm learning on the job here. Yeah. I'm gonna look for Dead and try and find more information about the murder. Okay, Dead's good here.
Yeah, Dead seems juicy.
Got some clips I haven't seen before. Juicy Dead.
Yeah. They've gone to bed feeling ill.
That's a Romero film that people haven't seen. The Juicy Dead.
It sounds like one I'd be into.
Feeling ill. Thinking it was flu or something. The neighbour called me. I had to use my key to let them in. We found them dead in their bed. And they'd been there for days. No one had noticed. Just awful. It was so soon after my miscarriage. The worst year of my life. I'd been so happy to get married, and after that it was just like, fuck.
So we have
This is her parents.
Yeah, we have
dead.
context from previous clips. So she's talking about her parents there. Yeah, Falcon King. To be clear, I know it wasn't intended as criticism. I just thought it was a good moment to sort of point out for Amabel that
Well, yeah, no, I understand, and I've often been told that I don't quite even talking, like you and I have conversations all the time. You continue to talk to me for some reason, and I tend to go from A to D, and I've gone through B and C in my head to get to D, but I'm talking to you and I say A and then I say D, right? And sometimes I'm hard to follow. So you follow me more than most people. I will say that. Goodness gracious. But I know that sometimes I don't quite lay it all out as much as I'd like, especially contemporaneously, especially extemporaneously, like in the moment. This is why when I do the video essay work, like I'm able to, I think, communicate things in a very clear way that people can follow, like a logical chain of things, because I have to stop and tell the story.
and you have time to.
Whereas here, I don't really have that opportunity to go and redraft
Yeah.
and whatnot.
It's all that matters, really. The baby. Simon's dead, but the baby, that's how he will live on. Our baby. It was supposed to be a secret. Just because Simon is dead doesn't mean I have to give up all his secrets. It doesn't have anything to do with what happened to Simon. No one murdered my husband because he cheated his expenses for a romantic weekend in Oxford.
Huh. Because at that point, we already know that she's not Hannah, that she's Eve. Maybe there's something else that I'm missing here, or she's just, a little loopy, I think is the technical term in psychology.
Rehearsed? You ask me the same question, you'll get the same answer. Is that your evidence? Of course I thought about what happened there. It's all I've thought about. My husband is dead.
That's a new clip. I don't think we've seen
That's a new
second
session. You mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
correct.
Is it Hannah or Eve? Yeah, because that's the first. Oh, that's the third.
Yeah.
That's the. Okay.
But I think you're right that we haven't seen at least a lot of stuff from that.
Okay, so if this is the first, then she came in with the tattoo, but not. Still thinking so. Okay, so this is before she's been found out. Because she's found out on the third when she fails the lie detector test. She lied about her name. So this is Eve. This stuff is Eve. I haven't been found out, which is why this is where she talks about the body and finding him and whatnot. I think. No, she does it here. She does it here, right? This is.
You're reaching here. Oh, I don't know why. No. It was supposed to be a secret.
Maybe not. Wait, where's blood? Blood's what I want to search for. Let's figure out this. Like, when does she actually? Yeah, it's only in these clips from the third that she admits that they killed him.
Yeah,
that they had a plan.
She's kind of laying it all out on the third.
Okay, so to take it from the top here, this is Hannah. This is Eve pretending to be Hannah.
So it seems.
This is Hannah. This is also Hannah. This is Eve pretending to be Hannah, but showing her tattoo, which is not the smartest thing to do. And then she's been found out and does a confession. And now we have this person who is either Hannah or Eve the next day.
Rehearsed? If you ask me the same question, you'll get the same answer. Is that your evidence? Of course I thought about what happened then. It's all I thought about. My husband is dead.
Is this Hannah or Eve? With the sleeve... Let's try rehearsed. Do you anything else? Just that one. Let's try
That's not a huge surprise to me.
Oh, there's some more clips we haven't seen yet, at least with husbands. So let's. Well, they're all earlier, and this is all Eve pretending to be Hannah. That might be interesting stuff. I guess I'll watch all. I'm watching all the clips anyway as they come up, but.
I haven't been into work. I guess I've just been waiting to hear from you.
Right. Someone remind me in chat, or you remind me, sweetheart, after done with these clips, to search for work.
Okay.
You hear from my husband. When you suspect someone of murdering their husband. She's crying, I guess. She's sad because she thought she saw her husband with another woman. But it's okay, because she finds out it wasn't her husband, it was his brother. And so it's fine. I thought it made me sound suspicious. It's not a normal thing to do, to drive to the other end of the country. I wanted to keep it simple. I know it was stupid not to tell you everything. Saying I spent the night in Glasgow when my husband went missing, I thought it would, distract you from what was important. It's different now. Now he's...
Okay, I'm search for work. I was thinking search for Glasgow. That's come up a few times. Okay, blue blazer. That's okay. That's early.
A mobile phone? Yeah. Well, they have one for the glaziers, but it's only for work. I can't remember the number. It's in the kitchen. I saw it plugged into its charging cradle. No. I'm not sure what strange would be, but he hasn't been acting odd. He's been busy at work, but nothing too stressful.
See, she mentioned in a clip her work and children.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking either she is a teacher or a nurse. Okay, that's...
From when I woke up. Okay. I woke up, Simon was already up, and he made me birthday breakfast of Eggs Benedict.
That reminds me, Eggs Benedict is fucking fantastic. I love to have some Eggs Benedict.
Eggs Benedict. We both had to go to work, so we saved presents till later. I got to work, had some birthday cake, children sang me happy birthday, and then I came home.
For job? All right, got some new clips there. Okay.
Yeah, when I was at school. I worked part-time in the front shop. It was sort of an extended family thing. My dad used to work there, my mum worked there before I was born. I took care of paperwork, filing, typing out invoices, that kind of thing. It was a good job for a girl back then. I didn't work a till or anything else. quite shy, so I wouldn't have liked to have worked a till.
I think a till is British for register.
Yeah.
To contribute, you know.
I don't know that it's British,
Dad
but
knew someone, and I got a job as a dinner lady at the primary school. They said it didn't matter if I could cook or not, just don't poison the kids. So you see, it's always been complicated between me and Simon. It's never just been the two of us. There's always been pressure.
Okay, a dinner lady, which is like we call it a lunch lady over here, but okay.
And the Glaziers. I worked there some weekends, and Simon had a part-time job there too. That was Eric's generosity. He was always good at helping out other people's children. Simon was quiet, more thoughtful than the other boys. Even then, he had a sense of craftsmanship. Wasn't always rushing stuff. Boys that age are just running around like headless chickens most of the time. You know? Plus, he had that look. He looked like a fairy tale prince from one of my books.
so
Hannah had a miscarriage.
Yes.
we'll go ahead and watch this. But
Okay.
Hannah had a miscarriage. This was late in the pregnancy, and it left her infertile.
Yeah, we figured that.
Felt like the universe had corrected its course. We were aligned again. But Hannah and Simon were still living with his parents. They were married. Simon had a job at the Glaziers now. Eric had given him a full-time position after he left school. And then
So you were saying?
so that's interesting. Would you close the database window here for a second? Okay, it just does that. I remember there being another program or two on the desktop, and so I was trying to see. Go ahead and hit continue. It'll just pop you right back in there, I believe.
Okay.
Maybe just move it to the side. Yeah, the database checker. Okay, so this is not hidden, but this is sort of a visual breakdown of the clips that you've seen.
That's quite a few clips left.
Yeah.
I'm going. You said this would be like a one-day thing. I'm going so slowly.
Well,
oh no.
Well, I mean, well, what I'm going to tell you is that I guess it's whatever you make of it. I don't think that the goal of the game is to see every clip. Certainly. But I don't know. For you, I guess maybe it could be. This is sort of like part of the question. Like, what are you doing here, right? What is the?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that Simon died either by accident or was killed, and the body was hidden.
Well, we know. Yeah, we know. We know what they did with the body. We've been told, at least.
I'm also pretty sure that Eve may have, maybe not sure. Just it feels of a piece that Eve may have killed the parents so that Hannah would get the house, so that she can move into the attic or whatnot, or reestablish that connection. Okay. So I'm looking for information on that. But like I mean, there is not a thing where the game's gonna roll credits.
Correct.
So I do feel like I probably, you know,
here's what I will say. There is a thing that happens, and I don't remember exactly what it is that triggers it. But if you want to like look around a little bit more, and then I'll explain to you sort of like what people consider to be the ending, and
Okay, yeah. Well, let's try
This
this.
was 9, about 9. I went round and she was waiting for me. She was furious and so angry, the kind of anger you can only have towards yourself. We screamed at each other, argued, cried, we fought. I hit her back, left a bruise. I had my wig on from performing and she tore it off. Eventually, we grew tired of fighting and I left.
Okay, let me search for accident in case it was an accident rather than a murder.
When I was 8, Mother died. She slipped down the stairs. It was an accident. I had read a diary at that point and I knew she wasn't my real mother. So I burned the diary that day and I left. Walked out and across the street.
All right. All right, that's 9 entries, mother. Okay, let's try this.
Okay. There's a girl and she's staring out of the window. She's sad. She's trapped. She's here. She's looking out the window because her mother won't let her out. My mother called me Eve. Well, she wasn't my real mother, but she raised me. Do you want to hear the story? It's a real life fairy tale.
so that'll be the beginning of her. Oh.
Wait, what? What on earth?
I think that's a coincidence. I think that's a coincidence. So you can say yes if you want, or you can just.
It won't let me. Oh, there it is. Oh. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to tell you to not do that.
Okay.
Because there's there's a pretty important clip that I don't think you have seen. Would you open up the database thing for me again? I just want to make sure that at this point I'm like that might be would that let me ask you this. Without me pushing you, would that be where you stopped? If you were just engaging with this on your own.
I don't know. I have a lot of difficulty with games where I have to choose where to stop.
Yeah, because that's the thing I was talking about. That's as much ending as you're going to receive.
So I'm trying to.
And I think it just fires when you hit a certain percentage of the clips.
Okay.
Hannah was so smitten with Simon. She started getting jealous, didn't want to share. Even the first date. We went to see Tom Cruise at the Old Odeon. We both went, kept changing places in the toilet. We only had one best dress, so we had to keep swapping clothes. Must have thought we had terrible bladder problems. The next date, it was my turn. At the end, I let him kiss me, but that was it. We didn't want another card on our hands, and the Ouija board had said to hold back. After that, it was Hannah's turn, and she slept with him. Broke the rules. Deliberately broke the rules. She wanted to be the first to sleep with him. I mean, that's when she got pregnant. From that one time.
Huh.
No, he doesn't keep a diary. That's my thing. I've kept one, well, as long as I can remember, since I was a girl. Helps make sense of my day. And when you're forced to put something into words, this gives you perspective. Everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, so what am I...
So I'm going to ask you to tell me what you want to do from here.
So if there's something that I haven't seen that is juicy, is good, I want to see it.
But without having known that was the case, like, you might walk away with this understanding of the story. I think that's part of what's interesting about these games, is that, like, you might walk away with that understanding of the story, and that is a story. That's a whole thing, right?
But here's the thing, though. I think for you would walk away and you'd be like, okay, well, I'm done with that. I would then look it up. You know?
Yes, yeah.
I tend to want, like, this thing that we had, because we recently hang on, this music is really...
It happened very quickly.
There. This is something that we had happen with the blueprints, where we reached a point where we are done with it. We recorded all the blueprints we're going to record.
Correct, yeah.
And the thing is dead to you now. You have no interest in, like, what comes next.
Yeah, if it's not interesting enough for me to play it myself, it's not interesting enough for me to be interested in it.
Right, and for me, I had to go look that stuff up and get, like, really furious about it. And that is really... That's an interesting difference between us. So, like...
So I'm going to pose Fake Alex Blue's question from the chat to you here. What remains unanswered for you? This is a really good way of putting it. Thank you, Fake Alex Blue. Do you want to know just because you know there's stuff you don't know, or do you actually have, like, do you have specific questions?
I mean, I want to know why Simon was killed. I have the general inkling that he didn't want to keep the baby, and she did, or, you know, it was her sister. I mean, it's her sister's. So, like, I think that might have something to do with it, or no, because then that would reveal that there were the two sisters. He would then know that there were the two of them. And there was that clip where he saw her, he saw Eve performing. Did I spell that word wrong? No, okay.
There's an A resemblance, isn't it?
Okay. I thought she said the resemblance was, it was like when she's doing her music.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Performing. It was like an early clip. Traditional song.
We don't need to hear her play the song.
You want me to say something?
Oh no, he asked her about the tattoo? Or is it just...
Yeah, that's me. But February, that was months ago. What's that got to do with Simon's murder?
Recognized? There was something she said about he saw her at work and like knew that the word wasn't resemblance because it's not coming up, but
She recognized me from the window. She told me to come inside, and she hid me. They had made the attic into a place where Hannah could play. There was a dollhouse. She hid me up there. No one else ever went into the attic.
right, and that was after her the woman who raised her, Florence, had died.
It was an accident.
Had died accidentally. Yeah. So I Simon twin.
They don't really use that word very much, do they?
Sister.
When she went home, Simon had a birthday tea waiting. Afterwards, she told Simon about me.
Right.
Told him I was pregnant.
Right. Okay.
She wanted me to move in with them, this sister he didn't know she had. She knew that instant. The look on his face.
Okay. So what I'm piecing. So we saw that before, and it didn't stick for whatever reason.
Well, you had those context.
Right. So she told him, and he was not cool with it. Damn it!
I can't believe that didn't work. Do you want me to?
Yeah. It just. Can you give me a?
Can you open up the? Is it possible for you to open up the database thing and leave it open? Can you still search the? Can you just like move the database checker so the bottom left part of it's visible? Yeah, and then just okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you to search for the word throat.
Oh, that's a good one to search for.
Yeah, it'll probably be the one over on the right there, but feel free to.
On his throat. How? Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. They talked. She'd enjoyed being me. He said he wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present. Another mirror. Just like the one he'd given her earlier. That unique present. She went crazy, smashed the mirror. They argued, screamed. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open. She'd only meant to scare him off.
And then the clip that immediately follows that is the one that you pulled earlier with the, we hardly had to talk to each other. We agreed almost silently the baby was what mattered. And so we bagged it up and,
Okay.
I'm gonna nudge you one more time. You wanna type the word arrest in?
Whoa.
Like I said, I think I was popping out to get something, ran out of something, had to grab something. I sometimes drive too fast. If you want, you can arrest me for that.
Bitch, that is a we will do that.
Can I leave? Are you going to arrest me? No. They'd laugh you out of the building. A lawyer would make mincemeat of you. This is nice of them. Is this where you take people when it's time to arrest them? Yes. No lawyer. What are you going to arrest me for? Can you arrest someone who doesn't exist?
Okay. Right. She doesn't have any. Okay.
So I would say at this point,
Yeah.
you sort of have the plot.
But did she kill the birth parents? I need to know. Was her father? No, nothing there. House?
Sure. Yes, of course, if that would help. Will you phone the house to let me know when you want to come round? Then I can make sure that I'm there.
Okay, sweetie, I love you, and I'm not trying to cut off your enjoyment here, but we do have a thing to do today.
Okay.
So having given the two affirmative responses to the chat program, the next time you log out, you get the credits. So what did you talk to me about that?
Okay. Yeah. I enjoyed this. I thought I think it uses its conceit very well. I think the performance is strong and pulpy, and there's a lot of things to dig into. I like the way in which I had to kind of slosh around in it, and I didn't feel aimless doing so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought this was a neat little game, and I'm glad I got the chance to experience it.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What do you think happened? What's your...
So I think Simon, besides having his wife and then the wife's sister who sometimes impersonated her, did hook up with the not knowing that that's who she was because of the wig, having the wig playing the doing the music. Because there was, I couldn't find it again, but there was that scene where she said that he thought that she looked like his wife. So I think he was like sleeping around, and he had to. I think he made two of the mirrors for the two women, and then the second mirror. The same woman received both mirrors because she was pretending to be the woman who pretending to be her.
Yeah.
And that's what I think.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
What do you have a different?
Well, I think the sort of like the major point of contention in the story for people is whether or not there are two women. Some people read bits of the final confession, especially that line, the bit that Eve says about Hannah being gone and never coming back, and then ending the interview with "Can you arrest someone who doesn't exist?" as a suggestion that a large portion of the story is manipulation, or that Eve and Hannah are dissociative identity disorder, or
Yeah.
And I think it's very in line
Yeah.
with the type of story, the sort of like hyper dramatized Lifetime horror kind of, right? Like I think this it's in that set of tropes.
Right. And the thing where we only see the tattoo. The thing is, we see Hannah with bared arms at one point without the tattoo. And then we see the tattoo, and it's not that many days later. And so it's not like a tattoo that has been healing. That is a tattoo that's been there a bit. So that's what makes me think that there are two people.
Or it's just Hannah, because we do only see it on the one day. Like, she absolutely could have drawn it on. I think it's pretty murky, and I think it's intentionally murky. I think they have sort of seeded it in both directions.
Yeah. Are we switching over to the gas?
Yeah,
cave?
we're gonna pop over to the gas cave. Let me zoom us over to here and start up the pre-stream music, which is way too loud. Wow. All right, there we go. Hi, everybody. So that was her story. That was approximately a one playthrough of her story. Yeah, it's a fun fiction little thing. Amy says it thought it was a little too dramatic. It's definitely playing in a sort of a melodrama kind of space. So what did you overall? You liked it though, Amabel?
Yeah, I did. I liked it quite a bit, and I did enjoy when I watched you play Immortality. I enjoyed that quite a bit as well. That got me a lot to dig into because all the film stuff.
Yeah.
That's the reason I showed you Clute, a movie that you definitely enjoy.
I enjoyed Immortality a ton, for sure. So this is the part, this is the post stream. Welcome to the post stream, everybody. This is the part where we talk about some things we have loved in the past week, share, help other people find stuff that they love. There's a lot of stuff. Here's the thing about the great connected world of the internet. Human beings are producing so much rad art at such an incredible speed. It is impossible to find it all. So we try to surface the good stuff for each other, right? We try to help each other find the things that might be the things that might be rad. So I got one. I'm gonna start today.
Yeah,
I got this. Let me close it again so that I can get the title screen before I pop it up on screen here. Because there's no way back to the title screen once you click in. I'm gonna preface this with, this is not 100% my flavor. It's a little on the cutesy side for me generally, but I have been playing the last couple of days quite a bit of this Squeakcross. Squeakcross, Home Squeak Home. It's a Picross game, but it's very, very rodent themed. You can see here's my fellow Boggles the rat. Here's the thing. It's a bunch of Picross puzzles. Pretty okay, they're pretty good Picross puzzles. The sort of like major conceit of the game is that you have this. You have a rodent of some kind, and the rodent editor is robust, is what I'll say. There are tools available for you to make it look like many different kinds of, it could be a mouse, it could be a ferret, it could be a hamster. I have, of course, gone pretty rat form here. And the Picross puzzles are given to you in the form of like magazines that you could like mail order, like furniture type magazines. And you solve a Picross puzzle to earn a thing to put on your critter or in their living space. And then once you have solved a full page of things in the catalog, you can kick it into more complicated puzzle mode to get the ability to like modify the things and change their color. And so there's a lot of sort of a depth and breadth of puzzles here available. I just have the first book unlocked. I'm literally one puzzle away from unlocking the second book here. But yeah, if you're into Picross, this is like a lot of fucking Picross, and the puzzles are good, in my opinion. You like Picross, right?
I do. I'm looking forward to
this is cute. You get to make your own little adorable friend. Of course, I picked one where it's like I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't even know how do I start this? It'd be like here, right? We're not gonna get into a whole big Picross thing because we are on a little bit short on time today. But yeah, this is my thing for the week. Squeecross on Steam. It is. Looking for it. It's $14.99, and it's fucking. My experience of it is it's totally rad. I'm really enjoying it.
I'm sorry I took so long.
No, you took about how long I thought you were gonna take with the game. I just didn't, You took about one playthrough to complete that game. Congratulations, You did a great job.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So, my thing this week, especially after you gave that great little summation, there's so many rad things people are making all the time and we are all kinds on the internet. You can see so many rad new things. So of course I'm going to recommend a movie from 1930.
Can you lean in on your mic just a little bit, maybe?
Of course I'm going to recommend a movie from 1931. Okay. City Lights, real basic normal film. Charles Chaplin. I've seen it a few times, seen it several times, and the thing I always remember is the kind of schmaltz of it, the sentimentality of it. But watching it this time, I was really struck by how good the gags are, how good and well timed and well executed the various kind of gentle and slapstick kind of jokes are in the film, and it moves really really at a really nice pace. So I'd recommend City Lights. It still holds up. It's still a very good film and probably the best Chaplin film. Chaplin's not my favorite silent comedian, but I did enjoy that.
Okay, people got anything we're sharing in chat here? Let's see here. Z Falcon King 17 says found a rad little game called Nine Kings. I've seen a little bit of that being played on YouTube. That seems pretty neat. It's an early access auto battler deck builder kind of thing. Let's see here. What else? Rift Wizard 2 and Path of Exile both got updates. That's right. Path of Exile is doing seasons again, right? Our roommate is really into Path of Exile, and I know they kind of took a little bit of time off of their normal release schedule so that Path of Exile 2 could come out and grab people's attention. But I think they're back to their thing. So that's cool.
Okay.
Lazuli went to a live showing of 7 Chances last weekend. Silent movies with actual accompaniment, apparently. I don't know if you're familiar with this.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah. You know what I miss?
What's that?
I used to go to there's a theater in the we live in Michigan, and there's a theater in Redford, the Redford Theater, and they had silent films with an organ accompaniment, and that was pretty good. I wouldn't mind going there again sometime when it feels safe to go to public places.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm a little high risk for COVID. It does complicate things.
Yeah, that is the theater. Do you remember that movie where if you have sex you die?
All 80s slashers.
Do you remember? No, the horror movie. You showed it to me.
That sounds likely.
There is it's like a sexually transmitted ghost.
Oh, It Follows.
So the theater at the beginning of that is the Redford Theater. That is the theater I'm talking
Okay, yeah.
about.
For people who are not familiar, It Follows was a lot of it was filmed sort of in our general neighborhood. Man, It Follows is a good movie, huh? I'm gonna go ahead and throw
Yeah.
It Follows on the list. You know what? Hey, you know what else I'm gonna mention here? Let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah.
It is a sort of it's sort of the kind of movie that you see on cable, and you're like, huh, that was a better expression of the thing that it is than I was expecting. You know, it's not like the greatest movie of all time, but I was surprised by how much I liked it. Is this thing here? Deep Cover. It is a movie that came out. It's on Amazon Prime. It came out like earlier this month, and it's just like a goofy Nick Mohammed, Bryce Dallas Howard, or Orlando Bloom. Like, they're improv comedians who get hired by the police to try to, like, you know, lure drug dealers basically entrap drug dealers, but they get in a little over their head, and it's actually just like, it's just kind of like firing on all cylinders. It's like a nice 8.5. I was pleasantly surprised. It honestly might be one of my favorite Orlando Bloom performances ever.
Okay. You got to do a good performance one of these days.
Amabel. All right. Anyway, that's, you like Elizabethtown. I didn't see Elizabethtown. I don't know anything about it.
No, I didn't like this spot.
Anyway, that's I think going to be it for us. We got a thing to do. We got to go visit my mom. So that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope everybody enjoyed the stream. I hope everybody enjoyed her story, and particularly Amabel getting to sort of take a crowbar to it and open it up and look inside and enjoy all of the delicious narrative goo. Come back next time. There's going to be more videos next week than there were this previous week. I got some kind of sinus thing. It was not really very uncomfortable, but it was maddening how long it took for the sound of my voice to recover. But as you can hear now, I'm basically back to normal. So hopefully more of a normal schedule resuming this week. Of course, there'll be another stream next weekend. Cool stuff. Then I hope everybody enjoys whatever is left of your weekend, and, you know, peace. We'll see you later.